And thank you very much for coming to this evening. First of all, Lucy, thank you so much for your passion on this subject. You've clearly transformed your church. And when I met Lucy the first time, I just met someone who really, her heart is behind this. And you can see that in this church tonight. And I'm sure many of you who know Lucy would testify to that. I also want to thank Robbie and Simon Perfect as well. Robbie, you've been a driving force behind this. Thank you for challenging us, for pushing us, and for your passion in this area as well. I very much appreciate it. Councillor Robert Rigby, who is also a fellow councillor at Westminster, is here this evening, and it's himself and myself who have been pushing this here at the council. Councillor Nicky Aiken, who's the leader of Westminster, is also thoroughly behind this and wants to see this as a success. Now, we all know the situation. We know this is a massive issue here in the country and the world. What can Westminster do to tackle this issue? And you're here tonight to hear what we have to offer. Now, this is something that we cannot do on our own. Westminster City Council oversees and can certainly help, but we cannot do everything. And we have effectively two asks tonight. Jennifer, in a moment, will come and speak and lay out some of the detail, but really the headlines are that housing is our number one issue in this borough. We have a waiting list of about 13 years for a 3-bedroom property. Jennifer will go into those facts, but it's a very long time. We have people who are currently in temporary accommodation, and for those people, we have big issues. But what can we do? We do, however, in Westminster have some landowners, we have private landlords, and it's for those individuals that we're looking to this evening. We're also looking to voluntary groups. But what can the landlords do? For the landlords, all we're asking for is a property, however it looks, and that could be any number of bedrooms. It could be 1 bedroom, it could be 2 bedrooms, whatever we can find. They will not be called out during the middle of the night because the refugee has an issue. They will not be at the end of a telephone. All we're asking for is accommodation. So it's simple ask accommodation, and that normally is up to 2 years. From the volunteers, we recognise that the City Council will certainly do its role for overseeing the whole project, but really it's the communities that will welcome the refugees. And we saw in Canada where 300,000 people have been welcomed to Canada through communities like people here tonight, like yourselves, who said, listen, we want to do something about this. And it's those individuals that have made a massive, massive impact. So really we're looking, number 2 is for community groups. And it's those community groups who are part of Westminster. You could be somewhere else in the city, but you're the guys that basically will help to take the refugees to the doctor, to the dentist. They need to go to the supermarket. How do they do it? They'll pick up the phone and phone you. And so really, if this is something that you're keen to do, and maybe it could be a group from a local church, a local synagogue, a local mosque, it may just be a group of friends who say, listen, this is something we really are passionate about. We will then link you up with those private landlords, and together we can make a partnership. So I'm going to hand you over to Jennifer, who's going to flesh out the detail. And I'm also going to say a massive thank you to everyone else here this evening who's given up time. We've got a great panel, so I hope you will enjoy this evening. Thank you.
First of all, I want to kind of echo Ian's thanks to Robbie, because actually Robbie has come and he has challenged us as a council to think differently and to try to figure out ways to make this happen. So just to pick up on from what Councillor Bott was saying, is the demand for housing in Westminster is significant, is probably an understatement. For a 2-bed property, the wait is about 10 years for social housing. We just don't have enough. So the ask really is about, can you bring properties? Now, thinking about what we can do, I prepared a bit to say, but I hope you don't mind. I'm just going to speak from the heart a bit. I speak much better when I speak from the heart. What can we do? As a council, we have some, what we can do is commission a service. And what I see happening is the community has such a big role to play. And picking up from what Councillor Bott had said, is that the softer stuff, thinking about if they're frightened in the night and they don't quite know what to do about something, if they need someone to go sit with them to go to the dentist, to sit at the GP's office, these things can be quite scary. And this is where you guys can come in. And from the council, what we would do is have a named contact in the council. It would be me to start with. And we would commission a service that would navigate through all of, unfortunately, what is bureaucracy, really. So if you think about people coming over to this country, they've never encountered having to deal with the benefits claim, with the Home Office, which is probably a job in itself. It's really difficult to navigate. But equally, health services, adult social care. So if they have care needs, we need to make sure that they're being looked after appropriately. So that's where we can come in. And we've really looked at how we can get housing that's affordable and sustainable for people, because that's part of the requirements on us as a council. But we really have struggled because the rents are so significant here in Westminster and we can't offer social housing. And if we want to do this, we want to house people in the borough. So what I would really ask is you consider it. Consider letting us, giving us a property. We would be happy to look at incentives if that would help. And I think we're going to hear from Cllr in a bit, and she can talk about her experience. But what I can guarantee you is, as a landlord, you wouldn't be called in the night. And if there are problems, that's our job to pick it up. They would have a named caseworker. These families would have a named caseworker who would be that person. So if something went wrong in the flat, that's absolutely fine. That caseworker will pick it up, or the council will pick it up. So really, I suppose what I'm saying is you would have just about the best wraparound support, and Robbie and Simon are second to none in their passion for making this happen. And it really is because of them and Councillors Bott and Rigby that we really want to push this forward. So I will leave you with that because we have lots of other people to speak to, but we'll be around for questions. Thank you.